to welcome to the show Phillip Gabbert. And let me tell you how he's on the show. Well, not the only reason he's on the show, but when I was doing the election thing and rushing out to my car, because I'm always late, I ran over my laptop. And so that was real inconvenient. Nothing worked. And so I had to, it wasn't, it came up this thing. So I called him up. He is a computer guy. He has warp9computers.net. And my choice was either call him or go to Micro Center, which they will charge you to assess it, and then they'll charge you again. I met him. He has his truck, comes completely packed with everything he needs. He fixed my, found it and determined it right there, ordered the parts, and I've got my computer today. So I said, come on the show. I don't think people know, and he upgraded it, my laptop. So I went from an 80 gig to a
actually 230.
to 200.
Yeah, they didn't have the 500 gig like I was wanting.
Yeah.
But they got the 230 in, so the 230 is there, and you're on Windows 7 Professional.
Okay, is that cheaper to get the 230?
A little bit cheaper.
Okay. Well, I was looking forward to that 500 gig. Now I'm disappointed. No, but it was. I guess we had to do it because I wanted to have it for the show. But he was able to upgrade me and get me all done. So I want to welcome to the show Phillip Gabbert with us, warp9computers.net, and he repairs everything from laptops to
Desktops to certain servers to whatever you think you need on computers aspects. So all computers, I take care of.
Now, one thing I noticed, and this is when I'm real apprehensive when I'm doing this, is that I look at a laptop and I go, oh my God, I got to unscrew this thing, and I'm afraid to. And there is some places where there are, but we were talking about, you can upgrade your laptop, right?
There are certain things you can do with upgrading your laptop if they have the capabilities like yours does. You can increase the memory if you want, change the hard drive out, put another different hard drive in there that's larger like we did on yours. Or if you need to get a different CD-ROM that's easy to replace, these are what they refer to as user components.
Okay.
But when you're installing software on there, hopefully you have the original software, and if you don't, then you need to go out and get the original software or buy new software.
Okay.
And that's
and
kind of what they're
I had the original, which came with my Dell.
Right.
And I decided to go ahead and make the move to 7, since that seems to be where it's going.
Yes.
And because we talked about that on an earlier show, and they're not really supporting XP, and 7 seems to be working real well.
It is definitely working a lot better. People who are on Vista, I highly recommend to upgrade to 7. They've got the upgrades in place now to go from XP to 7 a lot easier if you are on XP, so there's several things there that you can do and still have access to all your information.
And one of the things, of course, I didn't need, mine was an extra computer, so I didn't really need any data from it because it only had 80 gigs on it, so I didn't devote a lot to it. It's just, it would have been reloading the programs mostly anyway.
Right.
And 7 will use XP programs and some of the legacy software that Vista wouldn't do.
That's correct.
So that's good. But in the upgrade, when we talked about it, there's things that you can't upgrade on a laptop, and that would be the motherboard.
If the motherboard is bad, it is probably recommended to go ahead and buy a new one because the price of a motherboard is just almost about the price of a new laptop today.
And we talked about that. People are buying netbooks, they're buying laptops, and one of the things is there's such a variety. You've got laptops that are $299, or someone told me, they said, I can get a laptop for $200 to $300. I went, that doesn't do anything. Because everything, now the one I like is about $2,200. It's called an Alien, and it does everything, but of course, eat your little children, and it would cost me that to buy it. So what's the range, and if somebody wants something, that sometimes you're going to use it like an iPad, and as an extra thing, but what is some good computers you might recommend on the laptop side?
On the laptops, the ones that I typically like the best that are easy and durable is like Toshiba's or some of the Acers. They're very durable all the way around. The one thing that people need to be aware of is that if you're getting a tablet, make sure that the tablet has a good tilt screen to it, because that's one of the things that will go bad on a tablet. And make sure they get a larger size screen on it than to go to the small one, because the small ones tend to be crammed in real tight and there's not much circulation.
Okay.
So you've got to keep that circulation going on the laptops.
Okay. So like with my computer, did they not make a 500 gig?
They do, but they did not have any in stock.
Okay. So I'd be able to get that later?
Yes.
Okay. That might be an idea. And of course you can add every bell and whistle to it, but some of them, if you're just using it as the Wi-Fi receptor, and then if you want to use it as a complete, you think it's wise for people to use it as a complete replacement of the desktop?
Depends on what their business is and depends on what kind of data they're securing on it. Because sometimes if they're traveling around with their laptop, they need to make sure it's secured and protected. But if it's a stationary device, then probably instead of spending all that much money for a desk or a laptop, it might be better to go with the desktop. So,
is your desktop, Jimmy, running the i7?
Has the processor, yeah.
So you were able to get that. What kind do you have?
Well, this is just a desktop. This is just a laptop, so it's not nearly.
So and that's running the i7 though.
The desktop is that we use to stream. Has the it's
the high
Intel.
processor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so and that would be when you'd want to get that. He uses it for streaming and stuff like that. Well, and one of the things that you do, of course, is go out to people's businesses or homes, so you don't have to go down there or mail it out. And a lot of us are past the warranty. You charge a per hour charge when you come out. And what is it normally? Of course, it's going to depend on it, but sometimes, gosh, if it's simple, that's a good thing for them.
right.
But at least they don't have to pack it up to find that out.
That's correct. I usually come on site, and if I can do most of the work on site, I would prefer to do it that way. I generally give a free assessment, and if I can see what the problem is, I give them a ballpark of what it's going to run and cost so they can think about it. A lot of people like that, at least that way they can understand what's going to be involved with it versus what's not going to be involved. Like one customer I had to tell him you had to get a whole new computer because it's not worth it.
Okay.
And I didn't charge him anything for it, but he wanted that honest opinion of it.
Okay.
And I explained why he needed to get the new computer because of what was going on inside the computer. There were several problems with it.
Okay. Now, we talked about saving your data, and that's something that you specialize into also.
Yes.
You're very good. I know that I talked to several people. We know several mutual acquaintances that they all use you. And one of the things is that you're able to retrieve a lot of stuff when the hard drive quote goes dead, because there's ways and tools for you to use. But there's also ways to make it a little bit easier, and that's to do a regular backup system where that isn't necessary. You don't take the chance that you won't get it back.
That's correct.
And so I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what is that you use, a special...
I have a server sitting downtown in Dallas, and it goes through a web browser. And what it does is that we'll select all the files on your computer, and it will back it up either daily or weekly, depending on what you do. Or if it's a laptop, as soon as you power it on and connect it to the internet, it'll start backing it up. And it will store 5 versions of your backup. So if you have to go back to find a couple of documents that you made changes to previously, we would be able to recover those.
Okay.
But it depends on how much you need to get stored.
Okay.
And it's all encrypted. I'm real strong about getting your data protected, both on the computer and then having it backed up to my server at a high encryption rate.
And that does it automatically, where it does it at night? And
Yes.
that's especially businesses need to be doing that. I mean, people ought to be doing it, but certainly, I mean, where everything, the man hours of just putting in when your whole business is on a computer is pretty bad. But if you lose something, or the thing, like I ran over mine, and it had important data on it.
Yeah, and like with your hard drive, I'm not able to recover it because it did crash the whole hard drive. Now, in order to get that done, you'll have to go through a data recovery process, which is really expensive.
Which may or may not work.
Right.
The only thing that I know I didn't do is I didn't put, I have the Adobe, there's some software that only allow you to do it twice. So
Right.
you could lose that, and so then you've got to go prove to them or whatever you do and jump through all the hoops. So you've got something you're offering people. First off, how economical is this backup service?
It's very economical. Generally what I do, just right out of the clear blue, $45 setup charge is what I do to set it up. Depending on if it's combined with some of my other packages that I do, I'll offer it for free. And then there's a monthly charge, and I charge on the month after the storage. So if we set it up today, then towards the end of the month, you'll get a bill from me on how much space is taken up on my hard drive, and I charge by the space. It could be anywhere from $3 to $5 to all the way up to one of my clients is at $38 a month.
So okay, and so you could have maybe a full backup or just your data.
Yeah, that's what this
and
one
we talked
client,
about organizing
right.
your data, and that's one of the things that you work with clients too, is helping
Right.
them organize it so that during that backup it'll only take the data, and so they can minimize the storage.
That's correct.
And of course, if they can't get online because their computer's dead, how do they do it?
Then once we get them a new computer or get that one back up and running, then I do a restore.
Okay.
So they get all their data back and restored.
Are they able to do it themselves without you?
They generally call me. I reinstall the application, get reconnected. There's no charge for the reconnection or reinstalling or anything. I don't charge for any of that, and I restore it. Again, there's no charge because that's what you're paying your little service fee for.
Okay. Now, and you're offering something special here. We're coming close to Thanksgiving, so this is tell them about what your special offer is.
Well, with the business security in place, if things like this occur or if somebody does not have a full understanding of data security, I come in and do a presentation about all the laws that affects a small business dealing with compliancy, like data security if you lose the data, or if you do credit card processing through a computer and you get hacked into. What I'm offering is a presentation doing what we call InfoSafe. And once you're certified as InfoSafe, I'm giving away, because of the process, a free turkey or ham dinner for those who sign up. It will feed anywhere between 4 to 6. So it's kind of an incentive that I'm doing for a lot of people.
So we're talking turkey here. Yeah. How about them hams? No. I mean,
But, you know, it's a managed security program that's in place to get them totally compliant.
And you could maybe give that away to donate that to maybe some people in need, or eat it yourself.
Right.
But I mean, that's pretty neat. I think that's something unique. And but the other things, what else would people be surprised to learn that you do? Well, you do train. You're a teacher.
Teach.
He's a teacher over there at Brookhaven College.
Well, I'm not at Brookhaven anymore. I'm up at North Central Texas College in Corinth.
Okay.
But I do teach a lot of computer classes, so I have a lot of skills in there. And a lot of times when I work with people's computers, cleaning them up and speeding them up, I'll teach them how to keep them running cleaner and smoother by just a couple of steps that they can do once a week, or however often they're on the internet.
Can you give us one tip? We always change our oil 3,000 miles. Or is there something we can do with our computer that will?
Well, I've talked about these tools before: CCleaner and AUS Logistics Defrag. Those are the two.
I use
tools.
CCleaner all the time.
Those will help keep.
Except
them
I
running.
don't use the whole thing, because I found out, that's not exactly what I wanted, but I have been able to tweak it. You can totally customize it to what you want.
Right.
It would take all my passwords and things. I kind of like the way I had everything. But otherwise, I'd use it every time before I shut down, or when I can't clear out the memory, and I have not had to shut down really very often.
Right.
Sometimes I do, because after a while I go, my goodness, give it a rest. And wouldn't you say also in dusting out, maybe blowing out the dust?
About once a year, you should take the cover off and take a can of air with it powered off and spray the inside of it with the air and clean it out, making sure the dust, because